Jürgen, we're here because you have an important message to deliver to our supporters. Would you like to tell them what that is?
Yeah, I have to. I will leave the club at the end of the season.
Jürgen Klopp. The name resonates with triumphs, tears and unforgettable memories. From the moment he stepped onto the Anfield turf, he breathed life into Liverpool. His infectious smile, those animated touchline celebrations and that unmistakable charisma. It all became part of the fabric of our club. When the news broke that he was leaving, none of us wanted to believe it. Some people didn't want to think of a time of Liverpool Football Club that didn't include Jürgen Klopp. So, what was the reaction like to the news that he was leaving?
I think the same as everybody else was just pure shock. I think I thought it was fake at first. So you know you're clamoring around social media looking for some concrete news about it, and then obviously the club released a statement. You know the usual start tweeting Paul Joyce, you know David Owenstein, the rest of them start tweeting, and you realise it's true, and you don't really know what to do with yourself at that point. I don't think it's, you know, I phoned Jay and just, it was my first reaction. I didn't know what else to do, and yeah, it was just a massive shock, and it was heartbreak at that time. And you know, it sounds weird to say heartbreak when you're describing a football manager leaving your club, but it's the only way you can describe it.
My reaction when Jürgen announced he was leaving was, I think, pretty much the same as everyone else's. Sick, you know, that sickly feeling, that sad feeling.
I think anyone will tell you it's one of them days where you know exactly where you were and what you were doing, and the feeling was just horrific. I was coming to the end of a job. I was happy as Larry, you know, things were looking good, singing my head off, finishing up on a few sockets here and there, and then bang, gets a text message, Jürgen Klopp's leaving. And I thought, you're winding me up. And then another text message, and then another text message, and then phone calls, and I'm trying to get my head around it, and trying to look on social media to find if there's any truth in it. Unfortunately, there was. My initial thought was that he just packed up and left. And my first thought was, oh my God, it's the Shankly all over again. You know, there's going to be kids in the street like, you're joking, aren't you?
Are you on, aren't you?
No, I'm not having it. I've just been to Anfield, honest.
Who said?
He said, he just announced it at lunchtime today, and the board were with him.
I couldn't get my head around it. Really couldn't. Thankfully, it come from the horse's mouth that he was leaving at the end of the season, and that we get a chance to say it out to him, but I've honestly never felt anything like it.
I think, like a lot of people, I thought it was a joke at first. When I found out Jürgen was leaving, yeah, it felt like you were going to click on a link and it was going to be a joke or something. But in the same way that that those sort of famous scenes when we found out that Shankly was leaving.
No, he says he gets very tired. The pressures are great. He wants a rest.
Well, that's just not enough paper. No papers.
No, it was announced at 12 o'clock.
On the wireless.
On the wireless at 12 o'clock. I've just been at a press conference where he announces where he was finishing.
It was sort of like you'd bump into people and be like, have you heard the news about Jürgen?
I think when we found out that Jürgen was leaving, it was a bombshell. I don't think anyone expected this. I think with the signs he's made over the last year or so, and with the youngsters coming through, and that contract he signs, we thought, yeah, he's going to develop Liverpool 2.0, take us on to more trophies and more exciting nights, more memories. Couldn't believe it. Absolutely gutted.
I was actually in a car wash and I was calling my dad, and we were plotting our route to Dublin, and only when I look back on it did I realise, you know, that first season when we got to Kiev, I was so scared to even think when we were so far ahead in the first leg of the semi-final that we might get to Ukraine. Yet there I was, months before we were even anywhere near Dublin. Obviously, we didn't even get there. But I had turned from a doubter who was too scared to think, will we get to the next final, to a believer, plotting my route to Dublin. So to have that and then be hit with the news, you know, it's one of those times you'll never forget where you are, you never forget what you were doing. I didn't want to see anyone. I locked myself in my garage here for 3 days, turned the lights off, didn't want to talk to anyone. I got asked to do interviews on the radio, speak on TV, and I just said no. I didn't want to do it. I wasn't ready. This was probably one of the worst bits of news I've ever had in my life. And I know it sounds dramatic. You just never know if the good times are going to be here again. But as I said before, Jürgen's told us to be positive, so I'll do it for him. And I've had enough time to think about it. But initially, that was genuinely one of the worst pieces of news I've ever heard in my life.
Klopp introduced a brand of football that was relentless, exhilarating and uniquely Liverpool. He transformed doubters into believers, and under his guidance we witnessed moments that will be forever etched in our hearts. From the spine-tingling comeback against Barcelona to lifting the Premier League trophy after 3 decades, Klopp led us on a roller coaster of emotions. He didn't just manage the team, he ignited a revolution, a revival of the Liverpool spirit.
It's the passion he shows, kind of running onto the field, grabbing Alisson. I know it wasn't kind of... Some people didn't like it, but I was a Liverpool fan, we did.
I think at that moment, he was one of the players.
Yeah,
you know,
like it, yeah.
You know, it felt like it, and you know, there's been many moments, you know, Origi scoring in that particular game, but what about Alisson's goal? What about others, like, you know, like moments, I think they played Norwich or something like that.
Yeah, the Lallana. Yeah.
Lallana, and you think to yourself, wow, he has produced these moments, and you can see how much it meant to him at that particular time.
If I was going to relive one instance, period, it'd definitely be the Barcelona comeback from 3-0 down. Everyone wrote us off, and it was an incredible game, incredible comeback, and it was just brilliant to see the likes of Messi and Suarez just bewildered about what was going on. So yeah, I'd say obviously I would have liked to have relived the winning the league, but I would have liked to have been on the ground. But obviously an incident where we were in the ground, it'd have to be Barcelona.
It's a hard one, probably one of the hardest questions. I think Madrid is up there as a bit of an alas. I've seen it all, done it, but the young lads, this was their first time, so it was fantastic to be with the lads on that night. But I think it's a toss of a coin between that and Alisson's goal against West Brom. Although I watched the game on my own in the house because of COVID, I cried my eyes out at the end of that game, and it still chokes me even to this day. What a moment.
If I could relive one moment, it'd be a game where Liverpool weren't even playing, and it'd be the season 19 to 20 where Chelsea played Man City and Liverpool were crowned champions, because I've never felt anything like that in my life. I've never felt a roller coaster emotion like that in my life. You know, I went to work that day not wanting to show any interest in that game. I wanted Liverpool to be champions whilst on the pitch. I wanted them to earn it themselves and make their own fate, if you want. And then as soon as Chelsea scored, I'm getting text messages, and I can't explain the feeling. I'm just on cloud nine. We could be champions tonight. Chris turned up to ours at our time at Crater Vale. Not long after, I think Man City equalised, and we're just taking it easy. Then Chelsea get the penalty, and we're just sat down waiting for it to go in. It goes in. We jump in the car on the 90th minute. We get to my ma and dad's for the 95th. So for that 1 minute, when the whistle goes on the 96th minute, we were all stood there, just waiting for it, just anticipating Liverpool going to be champions of England again. And I'll never forget it.
reliving any moment under Klopp's reign again. There's a lot of different moments you could go to. You could, again, you could go to the Barcelona comeback. You could go to lifting number 6 in Madrid. You could go to the parade after Madrid. You could go. There's a number of games, but for me, it would be that game against Chelsea, and then lifting the league after it. I think we've seen us win the Champions League before. We've seen us do miraculous comebacks before, but in my lifetime, in the last 33 years, that's the only time we've lifted the league. That was the first time I've ever seen that, and so for me, that will always be the single most special moment under Jürgen Klopp for me.
If I could relive one moment, now, initially, obviously everyone's going to think, the Barcelona game, I'd love to do that again. But I don't think I would. I'd say Madrid, because it felt incredible, and there was just like euphoria, and obviously personally it was amazing when the record gets played after the game. And I've never experienced anything like that.
It would probably be like a private one, really. Or it wasn't private, but it was sort of behind closed doors. I was presenting awards at the LFC Team Awards, and I was waiting backstage, and Jürgen Klopp was with another player, and he was joking around and getting him in a headlock and just having fun with him, and it just struck me as that connection he had with players straight away, and not one that was for the cameras. There was no cameras there. It was backstage, and he didn't even know I was looking. But it was just when you observe someone being honest and having a real crack with the players, and he did. He did. And I also earlier on had seen him tell every player to sign everything that everyone comes up with, and not once did the players not sign anything, and it was right. It was then that I probably instinctively realised that he just got it. He got us. He got the fans. And he had that connection with the players. So that'd probably be my memory, as a little backstage one where he didn't know I was looking or anyone was looking, and it was actually Carlo Torre he was with, and he was getting him in a headlock and messing around with him, and it was just a lot of fun to watch and exciting to see a manager that connected like that.
To then go to Barcelona, and actually in the away game in Barcelona, we played pretty well, and we came away losing 3-0. It was incredible, and we didn't deserve it. But you're still thinking, that's a big ask. The day of the Barcelona game, I had a bit of an issue with work. I ended up coming home early, got to the pub, went to the Arcos earlier than normal. Great, happy days in the stadium, in sort of good form, let's say. And we scored early through Divock Origi, and then that early part of the second half with the 2 goals from Gini Wijnaldum, and it was absolutely rocking the place. Obviously then Divock Origi again, just incredible. The end of that night, we were back in the Arcos. Somebody said, right, we'll give you a lift home. We're driving out towards Switch Island, and we looked to the car to our right hand side, and who's in the car but Jürgen? So we're hanging out the windows, singing and shouting and screaming. Just an absolutely amazing, amazing memory.
Jürgen Klopp's last game in charge at Liverpool was a momentous occasion, filled with emotion and a sense of an era coming to a close. On Sunday, 19th of May 2024, Anfield was awash with a mixture of joy and nostalgia, as fans and players alike bid farewell to a manager who had become a legend. The match against Wolves not only marked the end of Klopp's remarkable tenure, but also presented him with the opportunity to break a 96-year record by becoming the first Liverpool manager since Matt McQueen in 1928 to win his final game in charge. The air was heavy with renditions of You Never Walk Alone, the anthem that had accompanied so many of Klopp's triumphs with the club. It was a fitting tribute to a man who had brought so much success, including a Premier League title won with a record-breaking margin and a Champions League victory that will forever be etched in the history of the club. Klopp's connection with the fans was evident as he took his final bow, leaving behind a legacy of passion, commitment and a deep bond with the city of Liverpool. His departure was not only the end of a managerial stint, but the end of a cherished chapter in Liverpool's storied history.
Last game against Wolves was dreading it. Dreading it from his announcements that he was going to leave. In my normal spec in upper 7, it really was emotional. I don't mind admitting that. He's given us such good times, good memories. It really was one of them days that was great to be there, but really didn't want to experience it.
The build-up to Klopp's last game was just complete dread. It felt like it went from January to May in a matter of minutes. All of a sudden, it's May the 19th, Jürgen Klopp's last game at Anfield, last game in charge of Liverpool Football Club, and we're all on our way to Anfield Road to welcome the coach. There's flares, smoke bombs, banners, flags, everyone's singing. It was like a party mood, but we all knew that it was just a cover-up for our real feelings of emotion, that when we get in that ground, it's going to go off and it's going to be sad. And exactly, that's what it was. Got in, You Never Walk Alone comes on. Brilliant display by everyone involved. I've got me Jürgen Lives Forever banner, waving high, and thank God the telly didn't catch me on camera because I was sobbing my heart out during it. I couldn't contain myself. It was a blubbering mess, to be honest. It was ridiculous for a grown man to be like that, but thankfully it turned around and there was loads of others doing it of all ages and we all felt the same. I think the emotion of the song intertwining with the event itself and Jürgen leaving and it being our last one with him was just too much for a lot of us. And I've never felt like that the match before, where I couldn't control myself. I just sobbed and the football became irrelevant. You know, we breezed through it. We done what we needed to do for the manager, made up, we kept a clean sheet, so the players done their part, and then it was down to us again in spells. The four sides of the stadium up on the feet, banging, singing. It's one of the best atmospheres I've ever been part of at Anfield, and we've had some special ones. And then we give him the send-off he deserved, and I think he appreciated it. And thankfully Jürgen kept it together for us, because if he'd have burst into tears, I think he'd have done us all in. But we ended up coming out that ground feeling on top of the world and singing our new manager's name. And that's just the magnitude of the man. He's made sure he's put us first, made us feel all right, and let us know that we will come again. And unbelievable, really was.
Last game, I was dreading it like everybody else. You know, the leading up to it was probably worse than anything. I was nervous about it, strangely, to be honest, because I don't know, it just kind of felt like every cup final, every final day where we could have won the league, it felt like all of that rolled into one. You know, I don't know if it's something about heading into the unknown without Klopp there and, you know, the new manager coming in or something along those lines, but yeah, I think nerves was the primary feeling for me, and I don't really know why.
Jürgen Klopp's arrival at Liverpool FC marked the beginning of a transformative era for the club. On October 8, 2015, Klopp officially became the manager of Liverpool, bringing with him a fresh tactical approach and a charismatic leadership style. From his very first press conference, where he famously declared himself the normal one, Klopp's down-to-earth demeanour and ambitious vision struck a chord with the Liverpool faithful. Klopp's impact was immediate, instilling a high-energy playing style and fostering a strong team spirit. His philosophy of turning doubters to believers resonated throughout the club, as he set about rebuilding and guiding Liverpool to become one of the most feared teams in Europe.
My first impressions of Klopp, like many of us, I didn't really know too much about him prior to him joining Liverpool, but I very quickly felt it was going to be different from his doubters to believers press conference, and then a couple of months in, that game against West Brom, the 2-2 draw, when Klopp takes the players up to the Kop end and they link arms and they bow, and he was widely ridiculed for that. And I remember the stick from rival fans and about celebrating a draw, and the media jumped in on it. And at first, many of us, myself included, was like, what was all that about? And I remember talking about it to my brother after the match. And he said, no, it was an act of thanks. thanks to supporters for being there. Thanks for being there thick and thin. Thanks for turning up in the tough times. And there've been a lot. And that's something that Klopp later confirmed. And when I look back at that moment, that game, yeah, he was thanking us, in my view, but he was also marking our cards as supporters. That was a call to action. That was building back the connection between the team and the supporters in the ground. And we had a job to do, and it was going to be different.
I think when Jürgen first arrived on his early press conferences, when he said doubters to believers, and I am the normal one, I think the whole fan base said, well, this guy's got something, and I think he inspired every one of us to get behind him in the team, and he was right.
It certainly gave me the hope that Jürgen's time at Liverpool will be successful, which, if you can, count one league championship in that time and some very near misses as successful, a lot of success in various cups. So when he used that phrase, it certainly gave me the hope that he would perform as he did and the team would perform as they did. So where people criticise from other teams that he's not been successful, there's a lot of teams would change places with us. And if it hadn't been for Man City and their goings on, we'd have obviously won a lot more trophies.
Jürgen Klopp's connection with the city of Liverpool is one that transcends the boundaries of football, creating a bond that is both heartfelt and enduring. His 9-year tenure as the manager of Liverpool Football Club saw him not only restore the team to its former glory, but also embed himself into the fabric of the city. Klopp's philosophy of football and life resonated deeply with the people of Liverpool, a city known for its warmth, resilience and community spirit.
Well, that's the word, isn't it? Crucial. You see very few managers get that connection with fans. I think Liverpool get it quite a lot. I think the people demand it. I think the people, well, they don't even demand it. I think the Liverpool fans, they bring it out of managers. I think they make it personal. I've spoken to a lot of players over the years who've said it's overwhelming, but in a good way. And they're always made to feel welcome and part of a family. And that wonderful story of him pulling over when they were doing a procession with the club and pulling over outside Jürgen's bar, which incidentally is owned by an Everton fan. And then he got out, he stopped the coach and got out and had a drink with some of the staff. He's just a remarkable human being. And that personal kind of love for the city and love for the people, love for the Liverpool fans, was absolutely crucial in making him such a special person.
Yeah, I mean, the city certainly felt very alive. I mean, there's in different point. I mean, I remember for the Basel final back in 2016, we were doing a gig in town that night, and it did even in those sort of early days of Jürgen, it did seem very, very vibrant.
I think he's been wonderful for the club, but also for the city of Liverpool.
He has. I mean, he's offered a lot around it. I've even spoken to Evertonians who, under the breath, said they do like him and they will miss him. They miss part of him.
Jürgen Klopp and Bill Shankly are two of the most iconic managers in Liverpool FC's history, both leaving indelible marks on the club with their unique styles and philosophies. While it's important to cherish each for their individual contributions, comparisons between them often arise due to their transformative impact on the club. Both managers share similarities in their charismatic leadership and their ability to instill hope and belief in the team and the supporters. They have both been pivotal in transitioning Liverpool from a club with ambition to one that lives up to that ambition, achieving great success. Ultimately, while comparisons can be drawn, each manager's era is distinct and their contributions to Liverpool FC are uniquely their own. Klopp's legacy, like Shankly's, will likely extend far beyond trophies, remembered for the spirit and unity they brought to the club.
I'd say the Jürgen Klopp era was the nearest thing we've had to the Shankly era. He took a team from the doldrums really and turned them into league champions and also European champions. And he was very similar to Shankly in respect that he always had the right thing to say. He always said, I think, what the fans were thinking. He had a great turn of phrase, great sense of humour. And he was a leader, and that's what Shankly was. So I'd say he's the nearest thing we've had to Bill Shankly.
I think there's always going to be that inevitable comparison between Shankly and Klopp because they share many similar behaviours and there are parallels in their approach. You know, the directness, empathy, humility, the ability to build deep and meaningful connections with others, taking personal accountability when things go wrong. And I don't judge Klopp's tenure based on accolades and trophies alone. I think his influence and his legacy at the club and the city runs much deeper than that. And when he joined Liverpool, in my view, it marked the start of a rebuild, not only of the team and the way that we play, but as what Bill Shankly describes as the Holy Trinity, that invisible connection that exists between supporters, players and the manager. And just like Bill, Klopp instinctively knows what can make the difference between success and failure in the preparation and performance on the pitch. And he also recognises the latent power that exists in the fan base in this equation. He just gets the difference that supporters can and do make in the ground or watching anywhere around the world on television. He knows that small difference can be all the difference. And there have been so many games under his reign that proves that point. Always respectful of the Liverpool way. Us old timers appreciate that. And in my view, he's helped rebuild the Holy Trinity once again.
Jürgen can only really be compared to Bill Shankly, I think, in Liverpool history, purely because the gulf between the second division and first division, what Bill Shankly had to do, I think that gap nowadays is probably more equivalent to what we see between like top four and lower league in the Premier League. It really is that hard. Not taking away from what Bill Shankly did, obviously that was phenomenal and we wouldn't be where we were without him. But I think for Jürgen Klopp to take an average team that Brendan Rodgers left behind and make us one of the best in the world, never mind the country, you can only compare that to Shankly. And
I think his philosophy and how he deals with players would have fitted. I think they all would have got on. Obviously, there's a lot of water gone under the bridge since they've retired and left the club. But I think Jürgen's the nearest thing over the last 25 years to follow on from the boot room. Obviously, Kenny did a stint in 2012 where things were similar, but Jürgen would get on with the boot room, and I think a lot of his backroom staff would as well.
This is a little bit about Jürgen Klopp, and do a lot actually, in 2 or 3 stages. So, stage 1, on a very personal level, we live pretty close to where they did live, don't anymore unfortunately, and through our shared love of dogs, got to know them. Walking through the pub here, and Jürgen recognised our dogs, Manny and Rennie, and we had a good chat. That was in 2017. We sat and we talked about the fact that he couldn't understand Andy Robertson, but obviously with my accent that I probably would. They'd just been on a pre-season tour to Hong Kong and he was complaining about the rain in Hong Kong, to which I told him, Jürgen, if you're going to go to Hong Kong, don't go in July. That's the rainy season. And other stupid stuff like that. Nothing particular about the football, just a general chat. As we kind of got to know them a little bit more, I had more conversations with them. Always lovely, never asked about the football, because if you do, then, you know, it becomes a bit challenging. But what really happened was in February 2022, I had what's called a sudden cardiac arrest, and I was dead for about half an hour, which in reality is quite a long time. What happened was that, unbeknown to me, because I was in hospital, I was in a coma at the time, they got my wife Mel's number, who's a mad Evertonian, by the way, and they messaged her, sent her a lovely, lovely message to say, we've heard what's happened to Neil, we hope he's okay, etc, etc. Moral of all that is, we're not important in the real world, not even slightly. For them to take the time out to do that, I thought, when I realised, when I came out of coma, was pretty amazing. She then had been to visit me in the hospital one night, because I was still in. I was in for about 3 weeks, missed the Carabao final as a consequence. And she came home and got to the house and saw some stuff had been posted through the door. Got in, looked, and it was a note from Jürgen and Ulla, and a shirt signed by themselves, a note to me on the front of the shirt, and to the rest of the first team squad, which I thought was absolutely amazing, to be honest. As I keep saying, we're not important, they didn't have to do it, didn't make any difference ultimately, but they were just lovely about it. And that's exactly how we found them to be. 6 days before he was, or he announced he was leaving the club, I bumped into Ulla. I was on my way into town, getting the train, and we had a long chat about all sorts of random stuff, dogs funnily enough, about the team. She thought the mentality of the team was amazing. We talked about the Euros, because I'm going to Germany to watch Scotland, and she said, oh, we're going to the 3 games as well. Should have twigged then there was something funny going on, but always just stop and have a chat. Jürgen himself, about, I don't know how many weeks ago it was now, but after the Palace game, my phone rang. It was Rula. She said, are you out walking the dogs? No, I'm not out walking the dogs, but Manny's got an abscess on his foot, so he can't go out. No problem, I've got some signed stuff here for you. I'm going to Mallorca tomorrow. So I said, no problem, do you want me to come around and get it? Yeah, no problem, go around, ring the bell, the gate opens, and who's standing on the doorstep with all the stuff? But Jürgen. Stand and have a chat with him, again, about all sorts of random things, not football particularly, just about what's happening in life, etc, etc. But that was a pretty disappointing day for me as a fan. I can only imagine for him as a manager, it must have been a really disappointing one, because it kind of put paid to the league chances. So for him to take the time to stand and have a chat with me for, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes on his doorstep that evening, I thought spoke absolutely massive volumes for what they are as people. They are absolutely lovely, lovely people. They will be so missed. I think since he's officially gone, I've been in a state of denial, I don't know what you call it, but most of all because they're just really, really nice people. To me, that's the most important bit. Yeah, the football bit, which we'll come on to, is absolutely incredible. But what they've done for people on a human level is absolutely incredible. So for me personally, I can't speak highly enough of Jürgen and Ulla. She's absolutely critical in it. You know, she supports them, she does all the things, and she's a part of the community around about here, etc. So gutted that they're gone. I think it's a tough act to follow, not just in the football sense, and just in the way they are in life. So disappointed, but ultimately for him, if he needs a break, and I can understand why he needs a break because the pressures are absolutely immense, then good luck to him. Hope he gets it.
Out of the sky for you, stop the rain from falling if you ask me to. I'd do anything for you, your wish is my command. I could move a mountain when your hand is in my hand. Words could not express how much you mean to me. There must be some other way to make you see. If it takes my heart and soul, you know I'd pay the price. promise I'd gladly sacrifice. Oh, you to me are everything, the sweetest song that I could sing. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. To you I guess I'm just a clown who picks you up each time you're down. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. You give me just a taste of love to build my hopes upon. You know you got the power, girl, to keep me holding on. So now you got the best of me. Come on and take the rest of me, oh baby. Though you're close to me, we seem so far apart. Maybe given time, you'll have a change of heart. If it takes forever, girl, then I'm prepared to wait. The day you give your love to me won't be a day too late. Oh, you to me are everything, the sweetest song that I can sing. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. To you, I guess I'm just a clown who picks you up each time you're down. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. You give me just a taste of love to build my hopes upon. You know you got the power, girl, to keep me holding on. So now you got the best of me. Come on and take the rest of me, oh baby. Oh, you to me are everything, the sweetest song that I can sing, oh baby. Oh baby, oh baby, yes I need you, baby. You to me are everything, the sweetest song that I can sing, oh baby. You are everything to me, baby. Can't you see? You to me are everything, the sweetest song that I can sing, oh baby. Oh baby, you're everything. You to me are everything, the sweetest song that I can sing, oh baby.
I think everyone would probably go for, I imagine, doubters to believers. But for me, it's the never give up.
Is 3 enough? I'd go for modern day Shankly.
3 words to describe Jürgen's time at the club is LA.
Needed. Definitely needed would be the first one. Everyone knows the club's history. Everyone knows that 30-year wait. Everyone knows how close we've been and the mediocrity we've had for a generation. We needed someone to come in, take the club by the neck and drag us to where we needed to be and where we should have been. He done that. Second one would have to be historic. Won every trophy. Set all kinds of insane standards. You know, that 38 game run. You know, the amount of goals we've scored. Just everything. And then finally, I would say eternal. He stepped into a position and rubbed shoulders with the giants of our club's history and cemented his own place on that pantheon. He's now there with Shankly. He's there with Paisley. He stands above everybody else.
The 3 words I'd use to describe Jürgen's reign would be fairly obvious. Doubters to believers.
A lot of thought went into this. It's a phrase that's on a t-shirt. I think the best way to describe it in 3 words is never give up, which I don't think we have over the 9 years. And hopefully the new manager coming in will carry that on.
Jürgen Klopp's reign in 3 words: made people happy.
Crikey, that's tough. Accountability, humility, belief.
Legendary would be the first one. I think anything less than that would be completely disrespectful, given what he's done for the club.
how he's turned the club's fortunes round more than once. I think that's probably the most important one. He is a club legend through and through. He'll always be welcome back at Anfield. Will he make another appearance as manager in the future? You know, maybe not, but I'll say a couple of prayers if it doesn't go well in the future, but hopefully it will. Second one, memorable. Memorable ties into legendary. Some of the best moments of my life as a Liverpool fan, well, if not most of them, came under Jürgen Klopp's tenure. So many good memories, man. You know, Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup, League Cup, Club World Cup. He won it all. He'd done it. He said what he was going to do. The third word, charismatic. There's one. He just had a way with people. He had a way with Scousers in general. I think he just got us. You know, he embodied the values and ethos of the city. He embodied the values and the ethos of the club and the fans. You know, he just had something about him that I just think he could have done pretty much anything and people still would have liked him. You know, there's certain content creators out there who've said, oh, he's a disgrace, he's an awful human, and it couldn't be further from the truth. He's just one of the most down-to-earth fellas you'll ever meet in your life.
It's tough. I want to change up maybe a little bit from what he said initially, and I'll say dreamers, believers and conquerors. And, you know, although I wouldn't say I was a doubter before he started, I think that's what it is. You know, we dreamed we could do things, but he made them come true. So, you know, dreams becoming reality, becoming a conqueror, becoming the best in the world, becoming the best in England, which was the biggest mountain to climb, and that's all thanks to him. So yeah, hope this helps. Enjoy.
I'm going to cheat a little bit for the first one. I'm going to class this as a hyphenated word, but I'm going to say rent-free. No matter what we do, whether it's good or bad, whether we win or lose, everybody wants to talk about us. Man City just won the league the other day, and their admin tweets, "This means 4." Obviously a dig at Trent. We're on everybody's minds all day, every day. We're just rent-free. Second one I would use would be just believer. Obviously Klopp, you know, said it when he first arrived, but you know, that's what he's accomplished that goal. We now are believers. He's managed to make us believe in Arne Slot before he was even in the door officially. And yeah, I think we believe we can accomplish anything. Now, nothing seems impossible because of Jürgen Klopp. And I think the other one would just be complete. You know, before Jürgen Klopp come into the club, I never thought I would see us win the league just because of the way it went during my lifetime. And, you know, he's come in, he's won everything he can win. He's won it all legally in an era where, you know, Man City are dominating, winning trophies left, right and centre by nefarious means. And yeah, he's completed football at Liverpool Football Club.
3 words to sum up the Jürgen Klopp era: joy, success, laughter. It's all right, Jürgen.
So what would I say to Jürgen if I ever got to meet him face to face? Well, I think the first thing is probably, do you fancy a pint? I mean, let's face it, he's never going to have to buy a drink any time in his life, is he? But seriously, what do you say to the person who's reminded you of what you're actually a part of and has helped you believe in something greater than yourself once again? Thank you for some great laughs. Thank you for some brilliant nights. Thank you for this chapter in Liverpool Football Club's history. And thank you for being one of us. All the best. Up the Reds.
Jürgen, to thank him, I'd say I would actually just thank him, and I'd ask for a hug really more than anything, and just say thanks for making us believe again, thanks for bringing the good times back, thanks for laying the foundation, thanks for bringing us all close together. I think he really understates the impact that he's had on fans, people, staff, players, just everyone. I think the impact he has, I think he understates. I don't think he understands how big of an impact he's had on people and our lives. And yeah, it's just been amazing to see everything that we've achieved with him. It's brought us right back to the top where we belong, and the foundations are there to push further, and hopefully we can continue the trend by winning trophies under the new boss. But
I actually don't know what I'd say. I'd probably say thanks for the memories, and depending on your moods and who the people you're sitting with, having a pint before or after the game, you'll say, do you remember this, do you remember that, and your opinions change, but it's been unbelievable. It just is. It's just been a fantastic spell at Liverpool, and I'm privileged to have been given the opportunity to watch them cups being lifted, and it's just, thanks Jürgen, never forget it, it's been a blast.
How would I thank Jürgen? Impossible. How do you thank someone who brought you some of the happiest times as a Liverpool fan that you can ever imagine? The best football I've ever seen. I guess the only way would be how he does it, isn't it? With a big hug and a big smile. Thank you, Jürgen.
Well, yeah, I have had the opportunity to meet him, and only the once, and I did actually say thank you. And I think he thought it was going to be a sort of really big, fluffy, sort of like, oh, thank you very much, Jürgen, type thing. And it wasn't. So I went, well, Jürgen, thank you very much, because last season we played 62, 63 games, and I was playing music in a gig capacity at about 50 of those. So after COVID and basically seeing my earnings go from whatever to, because there was just no work, my wife says, thank you very much for helping to pay our mortgage that year. And he laughed. He did the typical sort of head back, sort of thing, which was amazing. So yeah, that's what I said to him. And what a guy.
I would literally grab him by the hand and hope he went in for a hug, and then I'd never let go of him, because what that man's given to me personally, to people in my life, to every fan, everyone who cares about the football club, I don't think he knows. He's made us dream. He did literally make us go from doubters to believers, and then he delivered the impossible. You know, there was times when we didn't think we'd ever be at the very top again, and we go on about being on our perch. And you know, since I was born in the 90s, we've always been successful. We've got something in our DNA to make us win, but he took it and ran, and he made us a special, special team. He gave us so many special memories, and I just thank him for all of that. I'd just say thank you for everything. Thank you for making our lives a little bit easier when times get hard. Thanks for making us believe in the impossible, and when there's a struggle, you know that if you give everything, you can come out on top. When people don't believe in you, when people can laugh at you and mock what you're doing, to carry on what you believe in, and eventually it works out all right. So yeah, thanks Jürgen for making sure everything did turn out all right, and you made us believers, and I think till the day we die now, we'll never forget you.
If I were ever to meet Jürgen to say thank you to him, I'd just say it was like shake his hands, I'd hug him and say it was a privilege to witness your teams play, and thanks very much for everything you've done for Liverpool Football Club, and I think for the city of Liverpool.
You just really, having lived through the time when my dad was at Liverpool, when we were winning trophies near enough every year, it certainly put us back nearly into that type of situation. So to thank Jürgen for the times he's given us, certainly some of the matches at Anfield over the 9 years have been unbelievable. You can talk about ones like Barcelona, which obviously is everyone's favourite game over the last probably 9 years. And certainly that night was one of the best nights I've ever had at Anfield. So that and many other games and goals we've scored late on in games, and the way Jürgen deals with the fans, and the way he deals with the players. I think to thank him, you've just got to look at his record to know what people think of him.
Thank you for all the great years that you've given us Reds as fans. You know, there's been some major ups, major downs, but them ups were like outweigh them downs, and like by a billion. The Champions League, you know, them finals we got to, okay, we never crossed the line on some of them, but you know, it was the hype, it was the journeys that we've all been on, teaching us as well, teaching us not only in football but in life in general. I think yeah, he's taught us a lot, how to deal with things, to never give up, never say die attitude. His charisma is very infectious, and I think he's just huge in any walk of life in general, and he's an inspiration to everybody. So he's brought so much to the city, and we have to thank him for that massively, I think. Yeah,
I mean, I don't know how I can possibly put that into words, but I think I would just simply start by saying thank you. I think, you know, we've always supported our club, and we've always, you know, been there for the players and the managers and things like that, but I think under Jürgen Klopp we've really felt what it meant to properly love the team and the man and the manager and just everything about it. I've heard it said before, and I agree with it. He's given us our club back, and he absolutely is the Shankly for us. So thank you is simply just what I'd say, and maybe, you know, come back in a few years.
This one's the one I'm struggling with. What would I say to Jürgen Klopp if you've seen this? Mate, I could sit here and give a 50,000 word, you know, monologue. You know, I could be here for hours if I wanted to. But, you know, a good place to start would just be saying thank you. You know, thank you for everything what you've done for the club and the fans and the city. Thank you for everything what you've done for me personally. You know, thanks to you, I got to experience one of the greatest eras this club's ever seen. I've never seen the fans so happy in my life. My son's not long just turned 4, and he's seen us pretty much win it all. You know, one of the best moments for me to come out of lockdown was the fact that I got to sit there with my son on my knee, and we watched Henderson lift the trophy at Anfield, the Premier League trophy. And that just special moments with me and my son, I'd never give it up. Not for all the money in the world. And there's so many more of those moments and memories, and you know, I got to go to Wembley for the first time, and we won. Everything, you know, if I could go back in time, you ask me, would you do it again? Without a shadow of a doubt. The good times and the bad, I'd do it all again.
Message to Jürgen. Where'd you start? You know, I've been lucky enough to be at every single game at Anfield that he's managed since he's been Liverpool manager. Been lucky enough to be there for what I think are the biggest moments, you know, Champions League finals, FA Cup final, League Cup finals. You know, I've been there through it all, and I felt a really big part of it. So you can't say thanks. There's no way of thanking him for what he's done for us as a city, for us as a fan base, for me. You know, I thought Steven Gerrard would be irreplaceable as the greatest Liverpool person I would ever see in my life, and I can't believe I'm even saying it. It was so soon after he left, but Jürgen Klopp's better. He epitomises the club. He is everything. I'll never be able to thank him. Even if I get the chance to sit down next to him and try and tell him, I won't be able to articulate how much he means to me, how much he means to the club. And, you know, we all said goodbye in such a perfect way, and I think he realised a little bit how much we loved him. But I think even now, if he saw what we actually thought of him, he wouldn't believe it, because Jürgen Klopp is so special. He's more than just a man. He's more than our Liverpool manager. He is Bill Shankly of our era, and we will never forget him. And yeah, if I can't say anything, it's just thank you so much, and I wish I could say more.
Had anything to say if I had the opportunity to speak to him, I would just say thank you for taking a gamble on a club that sorely needed your leadership, on a fan base that needed someone to raise the spirits, and a team that needed organisation. Thank you for sacrificing everything that you've had to do to get us to where we are today.
Na 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 Jürgen Klopp na 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 'cause he's taken over power, but he's only just begun. He took us back to glory, and he fucking hates the sun. Yeah, he's taken over power, but he's only just begun. And when everyone gives everything, and when we score, everybody sing Jürgen Klopp, na 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 na. 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 'Cause he's taken over power, but he's only just begun. He took us back to glory, and he fucking hates the sun. Yeah, he's taken over power, but he's only just begun. And when everyone gives everything, and when we score, everybody Jürgen Klopp, na 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 na. 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 Jürgen Klopp.